Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to my channel, and today in this video we are going to look at one more aspect of Saloon, which is data objects or data transfer objects. So what data transfer object does is it allows you to create a class which defines the shape of the response that you're expecting, and then it helps you in making certain assumptions throughout your code, because what you're getting is from a DTO. Some of the benefits are obviously because you know the shape of the object, you don't need to add a lot of if conditions. For example, if this property doesn't exist, then what should I do, and those kind of stuff. Also, it allows you to fail the request if the response which you are expecting in a particular shape is not available. For example, if you are waiting for a kind of a response from a third-party API where a parameter is very useful for your application to work, and you don't get that, then you can kind of raise an exception, because your application, even if it allows that data to come, may behave in a way which is not expected by the end user. So let's understand what do we do with DTOs in Saloon. So before we dive into our code, I'll quickly show you the setup that I have, because it is important for you to understand. I have one Laravel application running on port 8000. If I show you my terminal, this is one application running on port 8000, and there's a separate application, and I have done that so that I can make API calls to a third-party application which is completely under my control, which is the application running on port 9000. Alright, so let's first make a basic call to an API on that application running on port 9000. So it's a get URI slash users, it will be slash API slash users, and this is the data that I'm going to get. Now, if you are following the series, you will know that I have already created it. I'm just trying to understand where that thing is. HTTP, and then integrations, Laravel API. Laravel connector is the connector that we will be using, and in the request, I should have get user listing. Let me see. Slash users. Yes. So inside my web file, what I will do is I'll create an instance of the connector first. Okay, once the connector is created, I'll create a request and expect a response. So response equals connector. I get the send method, right? And I do new, name is get user listing, like so. Okay, is it expecting some parameter? Username. Okay, but it is making a call to the endpoint, so maybe what I can do is just pass this, and let's see what the response is. Okay, and I'll do a dd $response dot body. With this, let's hit refresh, and we get this. Let me also try to do the JSON. So you can see it's an array of 2 arrays. All right, this is what we got. But now let's just say we create a DTO. What is the difference that I will get if I create a DTO? So for the DTO, the first thing that they are doing is they are asking to create a function. First in your request or connector extend this method, which within this method you can get access to the response and I can do stuff. So basically, if I copy this, this is my get user listing. So in this request, I'll come down and so this is going to be the Saloon response. I'll do Saloon contract response. Okay, and I have not created the DTO, so maybe what I will do is I'll create a DTO over here, DTO or DTOs slash, let's just say user list DTO dot php. Now this can be a very simple class, PHP class, and in the constructor I will define what are the properties that I'm expecting. So public string $name, and country. I'll just quickly check I have the name first and the country second, right? And here I'll need to add one more method. I'll go to the code. This is what we are expecting to put over here. So again, this is what Saloon contract response. So response this, and over here I'll do name, country. That's about it. Okay, and over here instead of server we will do user list DTO. Now let's do a quick recap of what we have done. So this is my request class, which is get user listing. I added a new method over here which is create DTO from response, which is fine. Right, and then I added this line of code which says that return the user list DTO from response output. So this method, whatever is the output is being returned, and that class has that static function, that static method rather, which is basically converting it into the JSON and then creating an instance of this. So we defined it in the constructor as well as in this method, right? And now it's time to execute our code. So the question is, how do we execute it? Well, let's just say, first of all, just let's understand that this was an array, and now what I will do is I'll call the function DTO. Oops, user list DTO not found. Where is this happening? User list DTO in here. Okay. Why is it doing this? Is it because I didn't add a namespace? Yes, that's my mistake. Namespace app. We have HTTP integrations, and then we have Laravel API / DTOs. This should solve the problem, but I just need to import it again. User list DTO. I think now it should work. I'm able to go inside it, which is one indication that it works. And now it is giving me a separate or a second kind of a problem, which is undefined array key name. And why is that the case? All right, I think it will work in this fashion. Right. The reason is straightforward. It is not anticipating an array. It is anticipating a kind of an object. So, otherwise I'll have to define my um, data type in that particular way. But I'm not going to do that right now. This is what I have. So immediately you can see that it is no more an array. I'll just try to show you both the responses. I don't know if I can do a dump of response JSON. Okay, because if I do that, you will see both of them one after the other. Right. So this is an array where I have two keys, name and country. And the second one is not an array. You understand this better. Why? Because it allows you, it is an instance of a class. So when you are sending this data in the form of JSON response.dto, you can type hint that particular data type, and that is the beauty. Also, as I said, if there is some problem with the data that is coming, you get one more method, which is DTO or fail. This will ensure that if the response which is coming is not in the shape that you are expecting, it will actually throw an exception. It doesn't matter whether the response is a 200 or not. If the shape doesn't match, it will throw an exception. Let's try it out. Right now, it won't fail, obviously, because there is no reason for it to fail. But if I make this as names, just a simple change, can you see undefined array key name? And that is happening because it is trying to define a key from the response which doesn't exist, because we took the data from the response in a JSON format, right? And then we are creating an instance of this class using the static method, and we are defining that the first parameter is name, and the response which we got doesn't have that, so it will obviously throw an exception. So this is some of the interesting ways that you can use DTOs. I could find an example like this, and this is one area. If you have more examples, or if you know more use cases where DTOs can be very useful, I would suggest you share in the comments below, or you can come to the Discord forum and talk about it. But yeah, that's about it, guys. That's what I wanted to capture in this video of Saloon's data transfer objects. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, do click on the thumbs up icon and don't forget to subscribe to my channel.